Hello, welcome to my little corner of the internet, or welcome back if you are not new here. Thank you for coming back, it's very nice to see you. I thought we could have a little chat today because I was perturbed by something that someone said to me earlier. Now, there's a little bit of housekeeping on this first. You'll have seen by the title that this is about things like body positivity, fat phobia, diet culture, and general weight related things. So if any of those things are a problem for you to listen to, trigger you in any way, this may not be the conversation for you. However, I have kind of put a list of topics covered and timestamps in the description below, so if you need to skip bits, I would wholeheartedly recommend that you do. But if you are here for the whole chat, grab a coffee or a tea or a snack. I don't know how long this is going to be. I'm sort of just wanting to talk through some stuff. So today I bumped into someone on a walk. They have seen me a few times. We've introduced ourselves. They are often out dog walking. I go on a walk or run pretty much every day. No, more on that in a minute. But one of the things that they said to me when we had a little chat from a 2-metre distance, of course, was, "Oh, you look so well, you seem to have lost a lot of weight." Now, my internal reaction was, "Oh no." My external reaction was, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't know, I don't really weigh myself." And I'm annoyed with myself for that. I will say, absolutely not that person's fault. We live in a society that values people shrinking themselves. We live in a society that is pretty fatphobic, that is ableist, that really values women particularly making themselves smaller. And those are all things that I actively in my life try to counteract. But these are messages that we are fed every single day. TV, magazines, Weight Watchers, social media now, it's totally not their fault. However, I'm annoyed with myself because I have that awareness. It's a constant fight to ignore or resist all these messages that we get every day, and I'm annoyed with myself because I said thank you. You've lost weight is not a compliment, and we're taught to believe that it is. We're taught that a really valuable thing we can be is smaller, and it's not okay, and I know it's not okay, but the fact that I kind of went thank you goes against what I believe. I think maybe what I should have done instead, I think what I should have said is nothing, or kind of and then move the conversation on. I did not need to engage in that way, but I panicked and I defaulted, which I think it's really easy to do. And I feel like a bad feminist for doing it. I mean, get me on the guilty feminist now, because I feel like I knew immediately what I'd done. I wish I had not said that, because it just feeds into the narrative that thin is good. Now, there are loads and loads of brilliant resources and educators, activists who I will recommend in a minute, who will be able to teach you and show you lots of information in a way that I can't, because I'm not an expert. I'm just a human that lives in a meat bag on this planet, surrounded by the same messaging that we all are. But I was having a think, what could I have done better in that situation? To which I think the answer is not have said thank you, to sort of have either totally ignored it or make it clear, not in a rude way, but that I have boundaries surrounding comments about my physical appearance. Now, I know that we've all probably at some point in our lives commented on someone's physical appearance. We are taught that it is a positive thing if someone has lost weight or made themselves look conventionally attractive in some way. What I would recommend is, it's totally normal to look at someone and have a thought about their weight. That is something that society has taught us to do. The thing is, that does not need to come out of your mouth. It's much better, I think, to comment on something that someone has chosen. So I've just recoloured my hair. It is more orange than I thought it was going to be. But if they had said, I really like your hair, it really suits you, you know, that's a choice I've made, and it's something I can control. And other instances, I like your outfit. Someone's put effort into what they're wearing, they've chosen those things, that's great, compliment that. You seem very cheerful today. Because I was in a good mood. I was chatting, I was saying hello. Even that I think is probably okay to say, but you've lost weight and commenting on someone's body, which there are other more interesting things about people than their body mass, the amount of space they take up on this planet. And actually I think it's quite a feminist act to try to counterbalance that. I think weight loss is something that takes up a lot of our time and energy. We're always thinking about food, we're always thinking about how we look, we're always thinking about how our clothes fit. Imagine what we could do if we didn't have to think about those things. Imagine how much time we'd have in the day. It would be glorious. Came home, told my mum, and she was like, oh, just let it go. I can't. Is the honest truth. Partly because I think as we come out of lockdown particularly, there will have been a lot of people who have not had the space to exercise, they've not necessarily had control over their food, they will have been living a very different lifestyle, and their bodies might have changed. They might have got bigger, they might have got smaller. Some people will look really well rested, some people will look effing exhausted. And you can't know what's been going on in their lives and in their heads throughout this time particularly, but also I think it's something that we need to carry out with us into the future. Weight does not equate with health, weight does not equate with value. I just think people will have struggled so much in lockdown, and one of the things that they really didn't need to worry about was other people's judgments about their body. You won't be happy if you're thinner. Then you can't know somebody's health and well-being just from looking at the size of their body. And I think part of the thing that really got me when this person said, oh, you've lost weight, is that I never weigh myself. When I am unhappy, I'm really struggling mentally, that's when I lose weight. When I'm happy and eating what I want and exercising or not, I tend to gain a little bit of weight, and I try really hard not to think about that. So the fact that somebody looked at me and said, oh, you look great because you're thinner, that goes against everything that I've been trying to teach myself and reinforce within myself, is that my self-worth, my value, my health is not in any way related to how my jeans fit, but it is in other people's heads still. And I think if we all go and examine that relationship with eating and exercise and the media and socially what we're conditioned to do, slowly but surely we can start to dismantle that idea that your weight is any... Because the thing is, it's not anyone else's business. It's like the least interesting thing about you. It doesn't deserve to take up that much space and time in your own head, and as much as we can think about other people's weight, really it doesn't deserve to take up that much time and space in other people's heads either. So, with that in mind, there are some fantastic people you can go and listen to and read and follow on Instagram. Body Posy Panda. Megan Jane Crabb is fantastic in terms of body positivity and activism. Her Instagram page is just a shining beacon of joy. You've got the Anti-Diet Riot Club, who I am ever having a low day in terms of self-esteem and overthinking all sorts of things to do with bodies and my body. I will go and have a scroll through them, and it makes me feel so much better, and it calls out all the bullshit that is going on in my head and helps set me straight. There are some books. The Body is Not an Apology. Can't remember the author's name, but I will link it in the description. Health at Every Size. Again, I'm such a bad, I can't remember the author's names. Health at Every Size is really, really important in dispelling that myth that you can't be healthy unless you're thin. It's just not true. And then there's Megan Jane Crabb's book, Body Positive Power, I think. And that covers all sorts of things from self-esteem, body image, being outspoken and confident. It's just wonderful. In terms of podcasts, if you're into that, I would highly recommend Hoovering by Jessica Foster Key. She is a comedian and also someone who loves food, but as with, like, I suspect about 95% of us, it's not always had a particularly great relationship with eating, and she invites guests on, they talk about food, hoovering it up, they eat food on the podcast, and they talk about all sorts of things, including intuitive eating, which is something that I try to do when I'm feeling not very well. I don't do it very well. And I suppose that's the thing, I couldn't turn around and say to this person, sod you, I've not been very well, I've been really sad, I miss feeling normal around food, and I don't want your approval for something that is a really negative thing for me. And that's how I felt afterwards. I was like, why did I say thank you? Why did I affirm this negative thing that she said to me that probably doesn't realise? And that's the thing, when you speak up about it and you set your boundaries, you can kind of expect further discussion. And I think there are good ways and bad ways of doing that as well. I don't necessarily think getting angry with people is great, especially if you don't know them very well. The best thing is to educate yourself and pass that information on to other people, and setting a really positive role model for young people who see you. And I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on this. Have you experienced that negative messaging? Where did it come from? Have you noticed it during the pandemic? And what can we do to change that messaging and that narrative that, you know, shrinking ourselves is good, because it's really not. I don't really want to live in a world where the worst thing you can be is fat, where the best thing you can be is thin. There is so much going on right now that we deserve to, and that other people deserve us to put our time and energy into. And I think we would have so much more time and energy for those other things that are really important if we could stop worrying ourselves and other people about what size our clothes are. It's also worth saying that 96% of diets fail and people gain the weight and then some. So diet culture is basically a big lie. This has been a bit serious, and I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to talk about it. I know some of the stuff that goes up on this channel can be quite frivolous and fun, and I want to be that for people, but I also want to have the serious conversations. So yes, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, this button is a great one to press. Also the notification bell. If you would like to share this video, it does help other people know that the channel exists, and any feedback just helps me know whether this is the sort of thing you would like to see from me, because your wish is my command. We are at nearly 100 subscribers, which is incredibly exciting. This little community is almost 100 strong, and I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but as one woman sitting in front of a camera in her bedroom, that's like having 100 of you in here with me. So that's very cool. I was thinking you can pick a video for me to film when we get to 100 subscribers. That could be anything from you have to answer it, truth or dare, to, or a Q&A, to something creative, something political. I don't mind diving into the deep issues, as you can see. So when we hit 100, you're in the driving seat. Anyway, I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, I hope you're looking after yourself in this lockdown that isn't really a lockdown anymore, and I will see you next week for another, can guarantee less serious video. Bye!